I'm a big fan of duck spring rolls, and I'm going to show you how to make them. And we make them in the cookery school, and our guests absolutely really enjoy it. So this is our Thornhill duck legs, which are slow cooked. I'm going to show you just talk you through how we've done this. And this is from Thornhill Duck. They're literally a mile up the road. The whole description of the farm and all that, Surrock and Ken Moffat, and they've been supplying us for over 32 years in MacNeil House. Fabulous, consistent duck, so it is. So what I've done is I've slow roasted the duck legs, and with some garlic, some herbs, a little bit of water, a little bit of rapeseed oil, and then a little bit of seasoning, and that's really it. But I slow roasted them at 120, and that took about 2.5 hours. So it's really low and slow. Into this, we're going to get our filling ready. We're going to use some nice Irish rapeseed oil, a little touch of butter, and actually this is a really nice way of showing you how to cook some cabbage, to be honest with you. We're going to use some red onion. I probably don't need all this because I'm just doing a couple of portions of the spring roll. So just slice the red onion. You can put garlic into this if you want to. You can put ginger. I'm not, but you certainly can. We're going to use these mushrooms, and these are called a shiitake mushroom, which are absolutely delicious. So we're going to slice them. So they're one of these kind of exotic mushrooms. They would have originated, I think, in Asia, like Japan, those countries, and they're just gorgeous. And these are grown in Ireland now. So they're an exotic mushroom. They're not a wild mushroom, exotic. So slice the mushrooms. And then this goes into the pan. And you know what's lovely in this too is a little bit of bacon. It's absolutely gorgeous. So that's in goes our red onion, the mushrooms. Then we're going to put a handful of the cabbage. Oh, actually I'll put all that in. So sorry, the cabbage, and this is just a little bit of Savoy cabbage cut into little thin strips. That's all that we've done there. You can use York, you can use white cabbage, but I prefer the Savoy cabbage. Good pinch of salt, and then this is a little tip for you. Just literally a spoonful of water. So you're kind of steam frying it. So really all you want to do is just to soften and just to wilt the cabbage a little bit, because we're going to deep fry the spring rolls, or you can bake them off in the oven if you want to. I'll talk you through that in a moment. So just cabbage on its own is a very humble ingredient, but it's a delicious ingredient. And my mother used to grow cabbage, you know, and we certainly hadn't it with red onions or shiitake mushrooms, but it just shows how our taste buds have changed. Like, look at how lovely and colourful that is. Now, I'm going to switch that off. I'm going to put in our duck. So I've removed the bones from the duck. So this is the Thornhill duck. I have 2 duck legs. Just literally pulled it apart. I don't want it too small. I want to know that you're eating duck. And we're going to literally just put that in there. So it's not cold, but it's not hot either. And that will actually begin to cool that down a little bit. Now into this also, we're going to get 2 lovely dressings. Well, I think they're lovely. One is the sweet chili sauce. They're both, and this is the hoisin sauce. So these are made from a company, Full On Foods. So you just give it a little shake, and then we're just going to drizzle this, and this is going to combine, just bind this all together. So the sweet chili sauce has a nice little bit of kick. I'll leave it over there because I need it for the salsa. The hoisin sauce, when you think of crispy duck with spring rolls, with pancakes, this is really delicious. And it works really well. Just a small amount of this, even in a stir fry, it's really good. And you could, if you wanted to make it really extra special, I didn't do it, but you could get some of this sauce, rub it all over the raw duck legs, and then roast them off, slowly roast them off if you wanted. So this is the hoisin sauce, and then you just mix that all together there. So that's our duck, our cabbage, the red onion, the mushrooms, all that there, done. And just kind of break it down a little bit. Lovely. Now I'm going to put some into a bowl, same bowl that I had the duck, because I just want it to cool just for a moment. Just going to spread it out, and this can be made ahead. And actually this, what I'm showing you here, is so delicious over some toasted bread. So that's our nice slow cooked duck with the sweet chili, the hoisin, the mushrooms, the little touch of red onion gives lovely flavour. So for our spring roll wrappers, so these are our spring roll wrappers. You can pick them up in any Asian supermarket. There's a pack of 30. Good tip for you. Never put them back into the fridge when you open them uncovered like that or open like that. You need to cover them really well in cling film so that they don't dry out. I'll just go right into the middle and I'll just show you. Now you can do these with phyllo pastry. To be honest with you, they're not the same. I think the spring roll wrappers, they're just hard to beat. So we would, when we have a duck on our menu, we serve the duck breast, pink or whatever way the guests like it, and then we would do a little spring roll of the leg. So that's how thin they are. Look at, they're wafer thin. And then we're going to get egg wash. So egg wash is just 1 egg, a little bit of milk. And then just brush this all over, just at the edge, so that it's going to stick. So can you see that there? Just using a pastry brush, just go right to the edge. Now because there's 30 little spring roll wrappers, what you can do is you can defrost them and you can refreeze them in packs of 5. Just do that once if you want to. So now for our filling, so this is the duck here. And we literally just spoon it just into the center. Now if you think now it's a little bit too warm, just let it cool a little bit, and then what you can do is you can wrap it. And if you want to do these the night before, what I would recommend is you have 2 sheets of the spring roll wrappers. You know, you get 1 sheet on top of the other, and then just egg wash 1 sheet. So this is the key here. It's just going like this, so over and back, and then just bring this one here closer to you, and you try to want to get it as nice and small and tight as you possibly can. So this is the technique. So roll it and then just squeeze it like that. If you think you need more egg wash, they're a wee bit fiddly, but don't worry, it's all about practice. And then just roll them like that. Now, so that's our nice little spring roll there for a starter main course. Now, the reason why, if you've done them the night before, you have 2 sheets of the spring roll wrapper. If you don't do that, it'll burst out to the sides, because just the juice from the duck and all those lovely dressings. Now I'm going to deep fry them. You can bake them off in the oven. So the oil is at 190, and I'm just using some rapeseed oil in this, and then I'm going to put it onto some kitchen paper. Simple as that. So it is okay. Next thing we're going to do is a lovely little pineapple salsa. So we've diced some pineapple. You can do this with mango, but pineapple is definitely the best. We're going to put a tiny little bit of some zest of lime. So lime and pineapple or mango, they go really well together. But all I have in the dish is some peeled and diced fresh pineapple. Actually, this is a lovely little dressing if you're doing some bacon or pork chops. It really is lovely. Now I'm going to use just half the juice of some lime, and then we're going to put in some of the sweet chili sauce. So I spoke to you about that before. It's a really, really lovely product. Just a splash, that's all you need. This can be made ahead. Let's have a little look at our spring rolls. They're cooking up nicely. And then a little bit of mint. Some lovely fresh mint. So I'm just going to show you this here. We're going to cut this really nice and fine. Roll it up, watch the fingers. See the way I'm curving my fingers here? So you must remember with the spring roll is that the filling is cooked. So all you're doing is just cooking the pastry. Salt and a tiny little splash. I'm going to use some extra virgin olive oil because I think it's absolutely delicious. And then we're going to mix this all together. Now, move that out of the way. You can see out of 2 duck legs that I had here, you'd probably get about 6 spring rolls. One tip, remember I said to you just about the spring roll wrappers. Don't be throwing them in the fridge just like I put them there. Wrap them in cling film. You can refreeze them in packs of 5. They're not expensive and they're absolutely wonderful and delicious. Gives great texture. So just give this a mix. So you have your lime juice and zest, extra virgin olive oil, some mint, and that is so good. See, with prawns, it really is gorgeous with prawns. So it is. So that's that ready. That will keep for about 3 to 4 days in your fridge, no problem at all. We're going to get ready to serve this up. Very, very simple. When you're deep frying anything, you need to put it on kitchen paper so it removes any excess oil. And then I'm just going to show you this here. So that's our spring roll. That's it cooked onto kitchen paper. Dry it off. Now you could brush it with egg wash and sesame seeds, but then you're being, I think, a little bit too fussy. That's our plate. We're going to serve it up. Sriracha sauce. So this is from Thai Gold. Really good product. Really wonderful company, and they're based in Wexford. You see me using a lot of their products, and there's a nice bit of a kick to that. So there is. So what we'll do is we'll put on our salsa first. Now definitely if you can do this, a couple of hours ahead, honestly the flavour is so different. Overnight, even better. Then the sriracha, just make sure it's coming out perfect. And do a little squiggle. Just a little squiggle of that. And then we have our spring roll. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to nick off the end. These are hot now. So you can see that lovely. Claire, just zoom in there, and you can see the mushrooms, you can see the cabbage, you can see the duck, and it's the duck for me is the star of the show. I have a couple of sisters who aren't big fans of mushrooms, and they don't like the mushrooms in it. So it's totally up to you as you want it. Now just be careful, they're piping hot. So just be really, really careful of that. Don't worry if they break up, because they do, they're quite fragile, especially when you cook them really fresh like I've done. And then we just arrange them just on the plate. You don't have to cut them like that, because usually what we do, this is called the chef's taste. They're sweet and sour. So good. They're so good. And as you can see, they're literally falling apart. And then just arrange them on the plate. Or you can serve them whole if you want to. You can see how lovely and moist and succulent that is. So that's my Thornhill, slow cooked Thornhill duck leg, spring roll with that pineapple salsa. So you'll get that lovely freshness on the salsa, that lovely crispness from the pastry, and that slow cooked duck legs, all those lovely flavours like that there on its own with a bit of toasted bread. It's so good, so it is. And I hope you really try this, because it's a lovely recipe that you can make ahead. Don't forget the spring roll wrappers, keep them covered in the fridge, and I hope you try this beautiful duck recipe. So that's my crispy Thornhill duck spring rolls, bit of a mouthful that, with our pineapple salsa. Happy cooking.